So in this video, I'm going to be going over 10 things, 10 lessons I've learned from my 20s, whether it's my own personal life or the life of others, but regardless, I've learned. So without further ado, let's go over the 10 lessons that can really benefit you so that you can just navigate your life in a better way and lead a happier, healthier, more productive life. So without further ado, let's begin. Number one, focus on giving value instead of on being liked. You see, man, so many of us are so concerned with being liked by others, by being that guy, by being this cool guy that people like, this cool guy, this social guy, this guy who's like a party animal in college, this guy who gets a lot of girls. But honestly, man, in the grand scheme of things, those things don't matter as much as giving value for several reasons. The first reason, when you focus on giving value, you just naturally feel better because you're contributing something to society, whether it's to someone's life, whether it's helping someone study, whether it's helping someone understand something, whether it's helping someone with a personal problem. And also the other reason is you're putting good karma into the universe. Let's say if you were just recently hired at a job, and even though you know you may not stay there forever, you're just focusing on giving value, you're giving value to people's lives. And then as a result, because of karma, right? People are naturally going to like you more, and people are going to reward you, or the universe rather, it's going to reward you for putting good karma into the universe. And you're focused not on being liked, which is the result, you're focused on doing the right thing. And then as a result, people will like you more anyways. So just remember that giving value that way, it makes much more sense in that regard. And also, speaking of not focusing on being liked, remember also, man, that you don't owe shit to anyone. You don't have shit to prove to anyone. You're not supposed to worry on, fitting in and being that cool guy and having to prove yourself to people how cool you are, how much money you make for a kid your age, what you do. No, you don't have shit to prove. But instead, when you focus on giving value, you eliminate those thoughts from your mind and you instead focus on doing the right thing. Number two, learn a skill that you enjoy doing or that you're really passionate about naturally and double down on that. Because here's the thing. When you have a skill set, or when you're trying to build a skill set, or you have a natural inclination towards, this particular thing, and you start doubling down on it, you're going to feel better naturally about your life. It's going to give you confidence. And as a byproduct, you're going to be that guy, that skill set, right? That person who has this skill set in this specific field or this specific thing, this specific job, whatever. And then who knows what could come out of that? Maybe you can make this your full-time job in 10 years. Maybe you can be a specialist in a specific type of field. Maybe you like martial arts. Maybe you like boxing. Maybe you could join one of those things. And then who knows? Maybe you could be an instructor who makes that their full-time income. But the bottom line is, you should focus on learning a skill set on the side that is something that you're naturally passionate about, not just for money. You don't just focus on, I want to learn the skill set only to make money, when truthfully, man, I don't give a shit about the skill set, but it's going to pay off in 20 years. That type of mindset is so stupid, and it's not focused on the right thing, just like I said in the previous point, which is giving value. If you're not focused on giving value and you're not focused on naturally becoming good at something because you want to, and as a byproduct make money, then you're going to suffer. But if you focus on it for the right reasons, because you're naturally inclined to be that way, people are going to like you more because you're going to just radiate this type of confidence, this type of passion, this type of excitement about life. And people are going to want to talk to you, and people are going to want to be around you more, and they're going to be gravitated to you more because of your passion, as opposed to just being that guy who's losing hair, losing sleep just because they're making money, and that's the only benefit out of it. Meanwhile, you're stressed, you're getting older, you're not getting sleep, your body is not good, you're not feeling good about yourself, you're not taking care of yourself physically just to make money, which is the wrong reasons. That's why I believe that everyone has a skill set that they can be really good at, and if they develop it, you never know what could come out of it. Number three, pay off your debt. Guys, this is crucial. Obviously, this doesn't apply to the people who are, let's say, freshmen or junior or sophomores in college, because you're already broke as a joke as is. If you're already in college right now and you took out this huge loan or whatever, obviously most of your time is going to be dedicated to studying and being in college, right? However, after college, let's say when you're 22, 23, for some people even up to 25, like myself, because I went to pharmacy school, you should focus on paying off your loans, paying off your debt, so that you can be financially free in the next couple of years, maybe up to 5 years from now even. Because then when you get to that point, you're going to be debt free, and you're not just going to have this weight on your shoulders when it comes to potentially getting married, when it comes to a potential startup you want to do with business. Just cash on the side that you can invest elsewhere. So that's why I want to focus on paying it off as much as possible, having delayed gratification instead of instant gratification. And what's also beneficial about it is it's going to teach you a skill set to be disciplined. You know, even though you want to spend this money on a trip to God knows where, no, you're going to be disciplined and you're going to postpone that trip. Maybe you'll eventually go on that trip, yes. But right now you're going to be focused on paying off your debt, because that's the number one priority right now that you should focus on, so that you can lead a more productive life, a happier life with more money in the very near future. If you just are disciplined and focused for a small amount of time, just for a few years, if you really just focus on it and make that a priority instead of, just swiping and just blowing all your money and just swiping your credit card whenever you can and buying the most expensive shit that you can't even afford, which a lot of people do when they're in credit card debt on top of that. Instead of focusing on that, focus on living below your means. Let's say, for example, you make, I don't know, $75,000 a year. If you're making $75,000 a year, you should live as though you're making maybe 55 to 60. So then that extra 15, maybe you could invest it, maybe you could spend it on your loans, and it could benefit you somehow long term. But don't be like most people who live either at their means or above their means. Instead, you should live below your means, so that you can have savings and you can be able to pay off your loan in a quicker way and be financially smart just in case an emergency happens. I remember I read not too long ago that the average American is one paycheck away from crisis, from financial crisis, which means if they were fired tomorrow, they'll only have 1 week worth of money to live off of. How nuts is that? You want to stay away from that as much as possible, bro, and stay, focused on the things that actually do matter, which is paying off your debt, so that you don't, God forbid, be in that state of financial crisis. Number 4, chase your dreams. The number one regret that most people have on their deathbed, when they're old and they're sitting there and then they're just sick and then they're, they have a terminal illness or whatever, is that they wish that they had followed those things in life that they really wanted to follow but didn't, because they were worried about what this person would think of them. They were worried about what that person would think of them. They were worried about not being good enough. Eliminate those fears from your mind, even if you're scared, and instead focus on chasing your dreams, obviously in a calculated and structured way. This isn't to say, for example, that if you dream of becoming an actor, to just drop everything and drop out of school and just sign up for an acting class and hope that you're going to become an actor in 2 days. No, not like that. You want it to be in a calculated way where you're taking a risk that is calculated in nature, right? And you have something to fall back on, but at the same time, you're doing it in a spirit of belief and understand that it's going to take you years, maybe even a decade, maybe even 15 years, who knows, to become successful at that thing that you really dream of. But if you focus on it day in and day out, and you have a routine, part of your routine, right? Even if it's just a couple minutes a day, maybe a half hour a day, maybe a couple hours a week, but if you do it consistently, you're eventually going to become great at that thing. And also, you're not going to be living with regret. You're just going to have an extra air of confidence around you. Just about your aura, you look very confident, you look very happy. Because you're chasing your dreams, you feel like you're doing the right duty to yourself, to your soul. You don't feel like you're cheating yourself at a job that you don't necessarily like, but you're only at it to pay the bills. Instead, you're doing the thing that you really want to do, or at least you're doing it on the side until that thing becomes your reality. And then you could say confidently on your deathbed, right, that you actually lived your dreams because you've invested years upon years into making it come true until eventually it becomes true. Number 5, develop skills with women, but do not focus on a relationship. Once again, get good with girls by learning the skills, but don't necessarily focus on the relationship title. You have other things in life that you should be focused on more than a relationship. If a relationship happens because you two are, super compatible, you guys fell in love naturally without forcing it, then maybe that's a different story. But instead, if you focus on just getting good with girls, talking to girls, approaching girls, taking that risk, then just telling this girl how you feel about her by taking her out on a date, right? And just stating your intentions that way. And then if you two click, letting it happen organically instead of trying to force it, you're going to gain so much experience because of the failures and because of, just repeating it several times, just like I preach in a lot of videos. Approach 50 different attractive women who are strangers over the course of 1 month. That's going to give you the skill sets and the reps in so that you can eventually become really good at it and just talk to any woman at any time in any place. You're at a line at Starbucks, you're talking to a girl. You're at a line at even Home Depot, the grocery store, it doesn't matter. What matters is you're now more confident and you're able to just have that wit, that confidence about you, just say anything at any time in any place with a woman while being confident and looking her in the eye. And it's going to pay off in the long haul because one day, you never know, maybe your future wife is going to be in one of these lines. Maybe she's going to be at a specific party of a mutual friend. You strike up a conversation with her. You get her laughing. She gets intrigued. She's like, this guy's attractive. This guy's charming. This guy's humorous. Let me spend more time with him. You guys go on a date. And then a few months later, you guys are exclusive in a relationship. And maybe a year after that, boom, you guys are married. You just never know. But what you should focus on, again, is developing the skill sets and gaining the experience by taking women out on dates that obviously you're interested in. Even if there's failures, which there are going to be, don't take them personally, bro, but instead focus on improving so that later down the line, you get what you want and you can say you're skilled with women. This piece of advice may seem superficial to you, but at the end of the day, I personally think it's crucial because every normal man wants a good relationship with a member of the opposite sex. Let's not lie to ourselves. Like, we all want a good relationship or a good type of connection or the ability to attract a specific member of the opposite sex. So that's what I'm saying. Develop your skills with women and you will not regret it in the long run. Number 6, parties are not nearly as important as they seem to be. A lot of us, man, when we're in our 20s, we like to party, we like to have fun, we want to be so cool, we want to hang out with this group of friends. You're in college, you know that someone's throwing a frat party, you want to be part of it because you want to be cool, you don't want to be left out. But honestly, man, think about it. More times than not, that party you're not really missing out on that much. Sure, maybe every once in a while you go to one of these parties and have fun, but if you keep that as a goal in the back of your mind, that's such an immature way to think because number one, you're not really gaining anything off of it. I mean, sure, yes, let me actually rephrase that. You're not gaining anything of longevity, that can help you in the long term because you're only doing something for temporary pleasure. I mean, sure, it could be fun to experience this, the girls, the this, the that, sure. But if you get used to this as a habit, you want to drink with your boys every weekend or whatever. You want to get shit-faced drunk so that the next day you're hungover, you don't know what to do with yourself, you miss out on the workouts, you miss out on studying. And you just miss out on focusing on your dreams and chasing your dreams and focusing on putting value into the world, into society, right? But if instead you're just focused on partying, you're focused on the wrong thing, bro. You're already distracted. You're focusing on distractions instead of on attractions. That's not going to take you anywhere, bro. I'm telling you, man, that party isn't nearly as important as you deem it to be, at least in the long haul. Sure, right now you might be like, oh my God, there's gonna be so much hot girls there. There's gonna be so much dudes there that I wanna flex on, I wanna show off this girl that I'm dating. I wanna go to that party because of that. No, dude, don't think about that. Don't think like that. Instead, if you're free and if you're actually accomplished something during that week, sure, maybe then go for a few hours. But don't make that the main goal in your life. Oh yeah, I can't wait to party. That's like the number one thing you have on your checklist for the goddamn week. No, focus more, again, on being productive than on being liked. Focus on doing something that's more important to your life in the long haul than doing something that's just good in the short term. Because I can almost guarantee you, man, out of all those people you see at that party, more than likely after college, you're not gonna see a single goddamn one of them, unless they're like your best friend or something. And that's a big if. Besides that, none of these people are really gonna be relevant 10 years down the line. Sure, maybe some of them, sure. But most of them, dude, I bet you they won't. And that's exactly why you should focus on the right things and the right people instead of focusing on just partying just for the sake of partying. I personally find it super funny when people are just partying and they're just celebrating the fact that they survived one goddamn week. It's like, sure, dude, you survived a week like the rest of us, but that's not that special. What did you accomplish this week? Did you sign $1 million deal with like a celebrity or something? A record label? If that's the case, then sure, go ahead and party. Did you get a black belt? Besides that, what are you partying for? Most people are just partying to distract themselves. And you don't want to be one of those people, dude. Number 7, get comfortable failing. I know it sounds weird, but hear me out for just a second. What I mean by this, by get comfortable failing, is change your relationship with failure. Instead of thinking of failure as like a part of your identity, like I'm a failure. I've done bad at this, so I'm a failure. I couldn't attract a girl, so I'm a failure. I couldn't get this job, so I'm a failure. No. Think about it. Okay, I messed up in this particular area of my life. Let me focus on that so I can become better. And guess what? When you focus more on failing often and learning with each failure, naturally speaking, you're just gonna have this wisdom about you because you failed so many times, but you've also learned so many times. So you grew as an individual, you became more wise, you became more street smart, you became more insightful, more able to deal with people, able to deal with situations. Instead of internalizing failures, oh, that girl doesn't like me, I'm just a worthless piece of shit. What? No. That just means that she doesn't like you for whatever reason. Maybe she doesn't find you attractive. Maybe you don't have any game to be on that level yet. Maybe you don't have any game yet, but you can develop the skills to become that. Maybe that job rejected you because your resume isn't as good yet, but you can make it good and get some certifications, build some experience, apply next year, and then get an even better job. Change your relationship with failure, bro. You have to change it. A lot of people, not just 20-year-olds, a lot of people in general have a horrible relationship with failure, and then they just internalize it. I mean, obviously, it's part of us human beings to be upset when we fail, But the difference isn't at those, it's how we deal with the failure. I know it sounds so cliche, oh, deal with failure, but it's honestly the truth. Being upset, sure, as you should, because you're a fucking human being. Being upset with failure, sure, it's good because that could also make you learn from your failures. But internalizing the failure and then saying, I'm a piece of shit, I'm not worth it, why would you do that to yourself? You're only doing yourself a disservice, and you're gonna start wallowing in your sadness and then just going into your man cave and crying. No, you don't wanna do that, bro. Instead, focus on what you can learn and then propel your life forward, because that's how a winner would think. Losers don't think that way. Losers just focus on losing and they just stay the same and they don't change anything about their problems. You don't want to be like that. Number 8, socialize and network with as many people as possible. I don't care if they're men, I don't care if they're women, I don't care if they're from this background, they're from that background, I don't care if they're from the same background in college that you're of, I don't care if they're into athletics when you're not, I don't care. At the end of the day, when you socialize and build your networking skills, you have no idea how much that can benefit you in the long term, bro. Maybe one of these people that you socialized with 10 years ago, today you need them because you have, I don't know, let's say you're a photographer, like my brother, he happens to be one. You were friends with this person in college, and then 10 years later you need him at someone's wedding, boom, you just help someone out, maybe you help yourself out. If you're friends with this person who's a structural engineer, like my dad, I'm giving like personal examples, but like my dad, and you need help with some contracting things or some, engineering work in your household or in your business or whatever, that person might be of assistance to you. Maybe they'll give you a discount, you never know. But when you network with enough people, you get to have a person for everything. You get to figure out how to navigate certain things because you know a person for everything to the best of your ability, right? You know a personal mechanic that you can take your car to and that you can trust. You can trust that he's not gonna rip you off. And just do that with everyone. Be social with everyone, even if you're naturally introverted. Just get used to talking to as many people as possible of different types, different colors, different races, whatever, different religions. That way you get to learn from everyone, and then you get to filter out the good ones from the bad ones, and then just keep those ones in your circle. And even if they're not your best friends or whatever, you can at least still learn something from them, and then there can be a takeaway. Maybe you can benefit this person one time 5-10 years from now. But the bottom line is network, network, network. There's this quote that says, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So remember that. Number 9, figure out a way or several ways to diversify your income. Now here's the point. Right now, for example, let's take me. I am a pharmacist. That's my full-time income right now. However, on the side, I'm a YouTuber. I make some money on the side, not nearly as much as I make as a pharmacist, but still it is a source of income. When I build it over time, who knows, maybe it could turn into a full-time thing for me. And the same thing for you. I want you to focus on other ways that you can make money instead of just one guaranteed way to make money. I know our parents have taught us this, our society has taught us this, that, oh, you just work at one job from the age of 23 or whatever, up until the age of 65, and then you just die, and then yeah, that's all you have. You only have a few weeks per year that you can travel the world, and then that's it. That's all she wrote. No, that doesn't sound appealing to me at all. You want to focus on several ways to make more money, obviously doing something you love, just like I just discussed. Not just for that reason, but also you never know. You never know if an emergency is right around the corner. You want to be covered and able to cover your expenses, and more than just your expenses, and have a bit of extra money by diversifying your income. I personally am doing YouTube right now. I'm not really investing much, but I probably will in the near future. You should look into other things too. Maybe you can get into crypto. Maybe you could get into index funds. Maybe you could get into Roth ROI. The whole bottom line is, man, find out a way to diversify your income instead of just sticking to one way. Like I said, I'm doing YouTube right now. I love it. I personally love this. It's a passion of mine, and at the same time, make some money on the side. And you should think the same way. But instead of just focusing on just one thing, only one way to make money, diversify your income, because you never know. And not even just for the sake of emergencies, it's for the sake of pushing yourself to become better. Instead of just doing the same thing over and over again, just because it's known, it's the safest option, stick with an option that can make you more money in the future. Sure, you're growing out of your comfort zone, but you're learning something that's gonna make you money, or you're learning from someone. Maybe even, I don't know, get a real estate license. I have one of my friends whose wife graduated as a physical therapist, and she worked as a physical therapist for a few, but then she became a licensed real estate agent. And that's her full-time job now. For you, maybe if you're interested in real estate, maybe you can do that on the side as a different source of income, right? Either to supplement your current income or to just make more than you need just in case an emergency happens, and also just to live a better life in general. So it's definitely not going to be something that's going to harm you, in my opinion. There's no harm in having several sources of income as opposed to just one. Number 10, you're not supposed to have everything figured out, bro. So don't be super hard on yourself. I personally tend to suffer from this from time to time. I mean, actually, to be completely honest, a lot of the times. A lot of times I'm super hard on myself, expecting myself to have this figured out, to have that figured out. When really, truthfully, yes, I'm trying my absolute best. And yes, it's good to be hard on yourself most of the time, or a lot of times, at least sometimes, right? But not all the time. Sometimes you just need to sit back and relax and just rest, and then learn from a mistake you made, even if the mistake wasn't necessarily your fault because you didn't really know much about it. Know in the back of your mind that you're still learning, you're still grinding, you're still providing value to society, you're learning a skill set, you're hopefully investing in something that can be a potential other source of income for you. You're getting better with the ladies, hopefully. You're getting better at this, you're getting better socially, you're expanding your network. Understand that something is going to give, and that's okay. There's not a single 20-year-old, in my opinion, who has everything figured out. As a matter of fact, there's not a single person of any age who has everything figured out. All these people, all these influencers like myself, all these big shot multi-millionaires, no one has everything figured out. But the idea is to just grow day in and day out, be a little better than you were before. It's steps, right? Gradual steps. And just learn something and learn from something, rather, right? Learn from something and learn from everything that you fail at, and have a better relationship with failure, and just understand that it's okay, bro, from time to time. You're not supposed to have everything figured out. I'm turning 30 in a month, in less than a month. Do I have everything figured out? Absolutely not. However, I'm trying my best to the best of my knowledge. I'm improving myself. I'm learning from my failures. I'm becoming better at YouTube, hopefully. To the best of my knowledge, I am. And I'm just learning from my mistakes. I'm 100% certain that the Assam today, that you see today, is nothing like the Assam 10 years ago in 2014. I am nothing now like that other Assam back in 2014. I grew so much. I learned so much. I've developed myself in so many ways, and I grew in every single way, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically even, mentally, better and more insightful, have better insight, better judgment, more wise, more street smart, more people smart, even more intelligent too. I would argue that too. Sure, sometimes I do stupid things from time to time, but I still learn from them. So that's my message to you, man. Just learn, grow, grind, chase your dreams, expand your network, do all these things, have a positive relationship with failure. And before I let you go, dude, just remember this one quote that I really like by this man named Stephen McCraney. The quote is, "The master has failed way more times than the beginner has ever tried." So think about that, change your life, grow and become better, and just remember to keep working on yourself, brother. Peace.